So, like yesterday, I went to visit this temple, Khidrapur in Kolhapur district, Shirol Taluka, built in at the end of the 11th century. This temple is almost have faced two wars and dynasty change there. Even again in 17th century, it was redone, repaired with whatever available unfinished artistic tasks and stones present there. And it seems that the Muslim endeavor Aurangzeb a few hundred years back cut off those cultures and invaded this place, which was supposed to be, and still it is a world wonder heritage site yet, in spite of the invader has broken it down. Many Google, Wikipedia, heritage sites, YouTube links will give you the description about its marvelous build and description about each detailing of the deity and how the built up is done. And if you're interested, go and check it. I'm not wasting my words on them here. The key thing and the core purpose of Kedrapur temple is for the highest spiritual tantra sthana of a divine space energy. The whole space is for the ascension in a tantra state while performing art. And that's why it's not only just go and worship and offer the flowers, but you have to go with the whole highest level of spiritual being there. Also, this temple, just a little about its the second battle took place between Shilara King Bhoj II and Devnagari Yadav Singh Singham II, during which the King Bhoj was captured by the Yadavas and was kept captive on the fort of Panala. This event was recorded in 1213 C inscription near the south entrance of this temple. This battle brought rule of Kolhapur branches of Shilaras to end. Architecturally, so as per Shilpa Shastra, this is the probably richest temple of Maharashtra. The stone used in this temple is a hard basalt rock that is found in the Sahyadri range of mountains, the closest point of being at 60 km away. So the stone must have been really ported here via Panchaganga and Krishna rivers. Most of our rivers had good waterways once upon a time. So, like yesterday, I went to this temple, which is an ancient, old in 11th century built Khidrapur temple, which is a nearby place, and I was literally mesmerized looking at its sculptures again and again. So, whenever even if the fantastic, well-informed guide or the whoever orator or so-called endologist you take along with you, they have a very basic shallow information to tell about entire history, ancient the sculptures information. I found they always end up taking you to the mythological story about those sculptures, who is representing, who is holding what, why are they here, how directions, how these deities works, how this deity is here, how do they look, and then Purana, Mahabharata, and Ramayana. It's a restricted vision. Do you think the ancient dynasties king used their millions and billions of gold to build this sculpture temple only for the deities to be described? There has to be some purpose, right? So today's corporate world, they have many projects. Like Tesla has a energy built electrical cars. Tata may have a different projects running, an environmentalist, and they have a HRs. They have some social works done on those. Similarly, the kings and dynasties, like present political parties leaders, built up temples, palaces, museums to have a representation of their wealth, to remain into the memories of the followers coming era after, and have the names sculptured and sculpted. That's how, if I'm a millionaire, what else would I do with my wealth? I will build palaces, I will build temple, I'll have it on the name of it, and it's a power center. of the ruler who has a quite a good amount of money, gold. He needs to spend it. And the temple. We Indian travel very less often. Our vacations are for the different reasons, and whenever we travel to the heritage or ancient places, we make it a point that we just click the pictures, videos, and post it on social media, and the purpose is done. No, but you know what? We are so very rich with these ancient places, heritage places. There are plenty number of them, and we did not happen to go there over again second time because it's just so many to cover in one single life. Apart from that, before going there and looking and clicking a picture is not the mere purpose. We have to have some insight there, some studies, some historical information prior, and the way of looking at those things literally changes. And that's how I'm just trying to tell you about how to look at these powerful ancient heritage places, temples, and sculptures. Just usually, I will recommend the youth, the student, the know as youngsters, and the school going students. They all should really plan and visit the Indian rich heritage places nearby their cities and states. Make it a point that try to find it out how these structures are built in those era where there was not a much science, physics, and laboratories, experimentation, vehicles, transportation. Nothing was available. Yet those structures remained for thousands and thousands of years. Even the invaders came, the war happened, still they were sustainable until and unless the opposite war king and invaders trying to destroy. They were almost been told that 46,000 of temples around were destructed in the wars. And what would be the purpose of invading this temple? Because they were the power centers, they were the main source. Was there money and gold hidden under those? No. If I have to destroy my enemy, I will destroy his or her name first, her whatever the weakness and the key factor which affect and will hurt her first. And the kings and dynasties power centers were these temples and the palaces which was holding their name, era, and the pride. So they were supposed to destroy that first, and that's how our the whole wealth is been which is spent on building this is just goes waste first. So once you are defeated in a war, that king's pride center, energy center is destroyed by the opposite kingdom. So the most of the dynasties like Chalukya and Shaiva and many more in south, they possessed the number of artists who could build up the sculptures in a different way, and the renowned one were hired to build the temple and given the specific deity to build, and their skills were judged and assessed. So in today's university and colleges of engineering and software programming or IITians or any professional colleges or any faculty, how do we operate? We have a university, we have a dean who is an authorized person, then we have a professors and the lecturers, and we have a curriculum, and we have a assessment. We have been taught into the lectures, then we have experiences given in the laboratory or actually in field practices were demonstrated, and that's how we become the professional in a specific area. Similarly, in a sculpture and artists in those area, they were not going in a school. So performing art and showing the art was the pride thing, like being an IITian and having your own entrepreneurship. But those university had the person who was doing such a sculptures and temples and heritages places built up as a power center, Acharya Dandanayak, and then they were inviting, calling the artists, sculptures at a different hierarchical pattern. The stones were selection, the direction, the rays, sunlight, it's a movement, mobilization. Everything was studied prior building the structure. 2 to 3 years they spent on its management programming, and it's just hierarchy is amazing without any background, without any infrastructure or the easiness what we have in today's life. They could do it. So without any modern science, technology, equipments, and tools, they could build such a beautiful creation on our planet to maintain the religious and richness in the culture. We, whenever visit such places, should respect, should read them, try to know the scientific overpoint and also the historical importance, and go into the depth a bit and preserve them forever, as long as we all can preserve them.